coming at you live from on top of my exercise bike. Lighting is not the best, but Lily Puffs is having a little bit of an off day. She's teething, so as a result, she's crying a little bit. Daddy's putting her to sleep, and I needed to get onto the second floor where you won't be able to hear her wailing. So, true life of a mommy vlogger. But I did want to jump on today to share a topic that I feel is quite personal, but very important to discuss. And normally I come at you guys with advice or how to's. However, I feel this time I might be the one that needs the advice or the how to's. So, every couple has a topic or an issue I feel that they are sort of gridlocked on. It's like continuous source of conflict. And so, normally I share all the sweet things Nosh and I do. We have a really beautiful marriage, but there is one issue I would say that we are a little bit gridlocked on. And it's a touchy subject, and I'm sure this is one that a lot of you guys can relate to. But before I share, guys, please hit that subscribe. We are getting super close to 1,000 followers on here. And, I think as of right now, it's like 700 something. So please help us hit that huge, huge YouTube milestone. It would mean the absolute world to me. And I'm sorry, I think you guys can probably hear all of the, what do you call it? The notifications going off on my laptop. I just got a new laptop, so I had to go in and like turn off all the sound still. But anyhow, hit that subscribe button and let me know in the comments what are some issues that you and your significant other have been gridlocked on. It'd be just curious, you can leave it anonymously or share issues of other people that you know that they're gridlocked on. I think it could help provide valuable content for future videos as we discuss and work through different issues that couples face. But I guess the one for Nosh and I, at least one of them, right? There's more than one, but the one that I'm talking about today at least is in regard to religion. So I am a Muslim and my husband is a Muslim as well. And that was very important to me, that I marry a Muslim, and no judgment to any other religion, culture, whatever. But I am a Muslim and I'm pretty devout. However, I'm moderate. I'm moderate leaning on conservative, like on more on the conservative end than the liberal end. And my husband is more on the liberal end of Islam. And, when I got with him, I did let him know that religion was a huge priority to me and a huge value for me. And for him, it is very important as well. It is. However, it's more of like, it's kind of like on the back of his mind or the back burner, It's like, oh, it's always there. You kind of take it for granted. And I am by no means a perfect Muslim. However, I just feel like I make it a higher priority. And for him, it's just, there's so much going on that it just doesn't take the top shelf. And so that's the issue that we have. I feel like religion is the most important thing in our life. And so when I talk to him to make it a higher priority, it's just, he says, like, I know it's important. I just have X going on, Y going on, Z going on. And I'm like, yes, I understand that you have all of these other things going on. But, in our religion, we have to pray 5 times a day. And he accepts that and he understands that. He just doesn't think it's as big of a deal to miss prayers and stuff like that. So that being said, again, I definitely miss my fair share of prayers, and I'm not, like perfect in any way. But the reason this is starting to escalate at least a little bit is that, for example, like when I am sitting with my husband and I'm like, hey, let's go pray. And Lily's with us, so our toddler. And he's like, oh, well, I can't, I'll do it later. I'll do it later. And then just doesn't really get around to it. The reason it's becoming so sensitive to me is that our child is going to pick up on that. Our child is going to be mirroring that and eventually telling me, hey, I'll pray later, or not. And so I think as parents, it's especially important for us to decide the values that we want to raise our child on, the values that are really important to us and to each other and individually, and help raise our child to the best of our capacity with those values. Now, here's kind of the struggle, right? Because the relationship a person has with God is a very individual thing. It really can't be forced. And if it's forced, it's not genuine. And I mean, the last thing you want to do is push someone further away from God by forcing it upon them, or, shoving it down their throat. And so here I am now as both a wife and a mother. And again, my biggest value at this point is, okay, God, closeness to God, following what our religion mandates, praying 5 times a day, following the 5 pillars of Islam, being a good person, doing charity, like all of the things that are, essential. That's important to me, and I want to raise a family that is unified by God. Like I see us as my bond with Lily, my bond with my husband, their bond, and God is in the center of that. And the closer we get to God, the closer we get to Allah, the closer we become to each other. And the reason I'm using the term God is I know that a lot of my followers are non-Muslim. And so I think even if you're a Christian or a Jew or, a Buddhist or a Hindu, I think that a lot of the principles of this video might still apply, or some of the discussions and topics in this video might still apply in more of a broad sense. But now I'm at this crossroads where I'm like, okay, I want to raise a family centered around God, but here I am feeling like I'm shoving it down everyone's throats. And I want them to foster that connection, right? That connection. And I want this to be a value for them. And I don't necessarily know the best way to go about doing that. Now, luckily for me, Lily spends a lot of time with my mom. She spends about half a day with her every day. And so for Lily, she's saying Allah. And for example, she sees my mom praying, so she starts to mirror the movements. Or whenever she hears azan, she rushes to cover her head, and it's the cutest thing in the world. So I am glad that she's getting all of these, like, this religious influence, and that I'm trying to work with her as well. But again, guys, just help me out. How do I create a family that is super close to God, that values God? I just want us to be good Muslims, a good representation of Muslims, but I want to do so in a way that keeps my child and my husband close to Islam and not further from them. So this was a really difficult video to make. It's very vulnerable and it's very touchy. It's extremely sensitive. And I just want to repeat again, no one's perfect. I am far, far from perfect. I'm just more so asking a question today. How do I get my family closer to God? And I would appreciate any feedback or advice or suggestions that you guys have for me. Leave them in the comments. And I really thank you. I thank you for watching this, hearing me out, and also just letting me get this one off my chest, because it's one that I really have never talked about before. So thank you.